What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm CJ. In today's video, we're going to do another NBA board breakdown video for PrizePicks for the January 8th NBA DFS slate. It's currently about a quarter till noon over here on the East Coast. So just keep in mind that the projections for PrizePicks, they change throughout the night, as we saw last night with Karis Levert. Once Kyrie Irving was ruled out, Karis Levert's projection didn't stay on the board very long. They actually pulled him, put him back on the board at a much higher projection. So if you were able to get in on Karis Levert while he was still pretty low and pair him with the right guys, then you probably ended up doing pretty well last night over on PrizePicks. Here on Out of Bounds, we do these types of videos every single day. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you're back again, welcome back. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications, drop comments below. I love interacting with you guys, and the channel is slowly but steadily growing, so I appreciate all the love and all the support. So let's get right into it. We do have some big names, some big news to talk about. We didn't really talk about news in the last video. I like to jump right into the projections typically, but these guys are big impact players, and we need to talk about them real quick. So Stephen Curry, he's got an ankle issue. He's closer to probable than questionable, so expect Curry to probably play tonight. Russell Westbrook, another guy dealing with a finger injury. They have him listed as out, but the newest news says that he's probable with the dislocated finger. De'Aaron Fox, we know the other night he went out early with a hamstring issue. He's considered to be out as of right now, but if you're in the Discord chat, I just added the new Discord NBA news channel. So all of the latest NBA news you'll find in there. It updates all the time. So keep an eye on that. And if you're not in the Discord yet, well, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Are you even playing PrizePicks right if you're not in our Discord channel? Go down in the description of this video, look for the link for the Discord channel invite and click on it and join ASAP. We got people winning every single night. So it's a good thing for everyone involved. So Christian Wood, next guy dealing with a knee injury, left knee soreness. He's currently listed as out. We got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, both expected to miss Friday's game. So you could probably expect Karis Levert's projection to be much higher than it was yesterday. He was marked up to 44 points over on PrizePicks once they pulled him and added him back. I could probably see them putting him in that 40 to 44 point range after his monster performance last night. No Markelle Fultz, out for the season with the torn ACL, and I think that's going to wrap it up for news. I want to jump right into the projections. I don't like to waste your time or mine, so we'll get right into it here. Starting off with the Phoenix Suns against the Detroit Pistons, we've got Devin Booker. Devin Booker's had a little bit of a down season so far. I don't know if the addition of Chris Paul's hurting his production or what the case is, but Booker hasn't been priced 40 or more in quite some time. So we're going to dig into the projections. Over on Roto Grinders, we use FanDuel projections. Like I said in many of my videos before, FanDuel, PrizePicks, exactly the same as far as scoring goes. So if we filter out shooting guard, we go down and we see Devin Booker is priced at 35, we'll round up to 36 points on Roto Grinders. Over on Fantasy Pros, Booker's down at 33. We'll round that up to 34 points. And then Roto Wire has Devin Booker at 32 tonight. So digging into his game logs real quick. His last couple of games have been up or down. 33 points here, 41 here, and then 19.4, a real dud. And he's got a couple of these in his game log so far this season. 23 back against New Orleans. Doesn't have a game log against Detroit. This will be his first meeting against Detroit. So playing big minutes, 34, 44, 34, 35. So if this game stays close, like it's somewhat projected to do here, I mean, the spread's only about 7 points. So the game should stay relatively close throughout. I expect Booker to get a full run of minutes here. Looking at the matchup, he's considered to be a scoring wing. This defense doesn't defend scoring wings particularly well, and he's on a 2 games in 3 nights type of schedule. So something to keep in mind with Devin Booker. So next guy we're going to talk about, we've been doing pretty well with Blake Griffin and taking the under. Blake Griffin, just not the same player that he used to be. He's not the high-flying dunker that we came to know in his LA Clippers days. He is a much different player these days. So let's take a look at Blake Griffin and see what he's projected at. He's been pretty low for most nights, 27 over on Roto Grinders. Checking out Fantasy Pros, they've got Griffin down at 29, which I think is a little too high. And then finally, Griffin on Roto Wire is all the way down at 22. So you can see a lot of these sites are either real high on him or real low on him. As I mentioned, I'm usually really low on Blake Griffin. That projection of 29.5 just seems way too high for my liking. Let's go into his game logs. I bet they agree, and they do. 19.7, didn't play the previous game. 25.6, didn't play the previous game. 21.5. So, I mean, look at this, guys. How many times has Blake Griffin done 29.5 points or more this season? Well, just one game. One game, and it took him over 44 minutes to get there. I would call that an outlier, and I would typically tell you that Blake Griffin is not going to put up 45 points, nor will he put up 44 minutes in a game. So I like the under on Blake Griffin tonight. I think that's a good way to go. Looking at the matchup here for Griffin, he's considered to be a versatile big. This particular team, the Phoenix Suns, are very, very tough against versatile bigs, and Griffin is also on a 2-game, 3-night type of schedule. So I don't like Blake Griffin's 29.5 for the over. I like Blake Griffin under that projection tonight. Pretty big slate of games tonight, so I won't waste too much time on any one given game. I want to hit at least one guy from each side. Let's move on to the next one. We talked about him at the top of the show in the news segment. Russell Westbrook, he's trending to play tonight. He's looking to be probable. He's projected for 49.4. We've seen Westbrook this season have that 50-plus point upside on any given night, and we know he's a triple-double machine. Tonight, he's projected to be the highest scoring point guard on the board, 48.74. We'll round that up to 49. He's over at 48 on Fantasy Pros, and over on Roto Wire, we've got him at 46. So all three sites agree on Russell Westbrook being the highest scoring point guard of the evening. But the real question, can he get past his projection, or will he go under his projection on PrizePicks? So looking at his game logs, went over 53 in his last game. Previous game, 49. Missed that one. 48.5, 52.5, 52-50. So you could see, as I mentioned, 50-plus point upside on any given night. So there's only 2 games that he didn't break 49.5, and he came really, really close to actually getting to that 49.5 projection that he has tonight. So for those reasons, I think I like Russell Westbrook for the over tonight. Looking at the matchup, he's considered to be a combo guard. This team does not defend combo guards very well. They rank 29th against that type of player. He's on a 2 games in 3 nights type of schedule. And if we look at the spread here, it's only a 6-point spread. So this game should stay close, which means we should get all the Russell Westbrook we want tonight. So I don't expect a blowout to be a factor here for Westbrook and his projection. Flipping over to the other side of the game, though, Jayson Tatum, 47.2. Tatum's been pretty good for the most part this season. If we go over to Roto Grinders and we filter out Jayson Tatum, actually not listed at power forward. He's listed at small forward over on Roto Grinders and FanDuel. He's projected for 49.71, so they like the over on Tatum. They like Tatum for 44.3 here, and over on Roto Wire, they have him at 46.8. So you could see Tatum is another one of those guys where some of these projections are kind of polarized. Some like him under, some like him over. Maybe his game logs tell a little bit more of the story for us. Had I would say a down game for Tatum standards last game. Against Miami, he put up 40 fantasy points. Previous 2 games, though, monsters, 55, 57. You go back down to 41, and then even lower at 28. So he's shown throughout the season that he can hit that 50-plus point marker on any given night. Although his game logs show that, just like the projections show, he's been hit or miss. He's been up or down. No previous game log against Washington for us to refer back to. Can we look at the matchup and maybe get a little more information on how Tatum should do here? We love the total, 120 points expected to be scored here. He's a versatile forward, and Washington ranks 9th against versatile forwards on the season. And he's on a 2 games and 3 nights schedule as well. And we mentioned before that this game should stay close. So if Tatum can get all these minutes, then I do like him to go over the 47.2. Don't mind that over on Jayson Tatum. We'll hit one other guy from this game. We'll go back to the Washington side, talk Bradley Beal. He's projected for 44 points. Someone in the Discord wanted me to break down Bradley Beal, so here we go. This one's for you, my friend. 46 over on Roto Grinders. Bradley Beal, 43 on Fantasy Pros. And finally, Beal at 44 over on RotoWire. We'll pop into the game logs. We mentioned before, he has not faced Boston yet this season, so we don't have anything to go off of there. But look at this last game for Bradley Beal. I mean, the guy almost hit 75 points. 53, 46, 40, 42, 47, 56, 43. So if we throw that 75-point performance out the window, then we're left with what looks to be anywhere from a range of 40 up to, I would say, low 50s on any given night for Bradley Beal. He's got tremendous scoring upside. We know that about him. This guy is a walking bucket. In this particular matchup, this game, they're projected, the Wizards are 114 points. He's a scoring wing. We know that he is. And then the defense versus his type of player, they rank 12th. They rank 12th against scoring wings, Boston does. And he's also on a 2 games and 3 nights. And again, this game looks like it's going to stay close. Hopefully it does, and we can take these guys and feel confident in those projections. So we'll move on to the next game. Enough about Washington and Boston. Let's go down to Oklahoma City versus the New York Knicks. A battle of the blues and the oranges. Both of these teams rocking the blues and oranges. We'll talk about SGA, a guy that I really thought was going to break out this season as the lead guy. I'm sure Oklahoma City kind of felt the same way, but it just really hasn't worked out for him as being the top dog with no Chris Paul and Gallinari out of the lineup. I mean, I thought this guy would really step into it this season, but maybe he will. Maybe we're just a little too early on him. His projection tonight, 37.84. We'll round that up to 38 for SGA, 39. And RotoWire has him at 34. So they're a bit low on SGA. Of course, his projection is 37. So 2 of the sites like the over for him. I think I've been taking the under on him most nights, and it's been working out for me. His last game was a monster, 53.5. But his previous games, 24, 34, 22, 36, 39, and 43. So this is another one of those guys that he's very volatile. If you look at his game logs, he's up, he's down. He's not somebody that I typically trust on any given night. So it's tough for me to put him in there and feel good about an over or feel good about an under. But this game, they're not expected to score very many points, only 103.75 implied points for Oklahoma City. He's a combo guard, and his opponent, the Knicks, they don't do a very good job at guarding combo guards, and this is a 2 games, 3 nights type of situation. The good thing about SGA and the rest of the players from this Oklahoma City New York Knicks game is that the spread is very, very friendly for us, so we can get all the minutes we want out of the guys that we take from this game. The Knicks are currently favored as 3-point home favorites. So there's a little bit of info on SGA for you. Somebody mentioned Julius Randle in the Discord channel. So those who are curious about Randle, we're going to talk about him right now. Projected for 44.4 over on PrizePicks. They like the over here at 46 on Grinders. On Pros, they have him under at 43 points, we'll call it. And then RotoWire has him at 49, so big over on him there. Let's look at his game logs because I believe the person who wanted me to talk about Julius Randle mentioned how he's been smashing. Well, my friend, you are correct. Julius Randle's last 2 games have been monsters. 54.7, 57.9, 39-35, 2 duds, 2 letdown games, but then you go back to the 50-point range, so 52.9 and 57.3, and then back down to the 30s for the first 2 games of the season. So, I mean, this guy's got it. He's got the goods, right? 50-plus point type of upside any given night. If we look at the minutes, they're there. We like guys who are playing big minutes because you have to be in the game to score fantasy points. So we want guys that are going to get as many minutes as possible. When you're out on the floor, you have an opportunity to put up fantasy points for us, which we love. So 39, 43, 37, 37, 44. I mean, upper 30s to low 40s every single night. You got to love that about Julius Randle. And you got to feel good when you put him in your PrizePicks plays and take the over on him. Tonight's matchup, versatile big Julius Randle. He's going against Oklahoma City, who ranks 7th against that type of power forward. So keep that in mind. Not the easiest matchup, but again, we love the spread. We love the minutes that Randle's getting. I think this could be another situation, another spot where Julius Randle goes over 44.4. So that's where I will probably be going on him. On to the next game, we've got the Charlotte Hornets versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Gordon Hayward, a guy who had a big night the other night. Let's dig in on Gordon Hayward and see what we can expect him to do tonight. I don't expect another night like he had the other night, but I do expect Hayward to do some good things. So he's projected at, we'll round up to 37 on Roto Grinders. Over on Pros, I don't see him here. Let's go over to small forward. There he is. 38 on Fantasy Pros. And he's projected at 37 over on RotoWire. So digging into game logs for Gordon Hayward. This is his first meeting against the Pelicans. No previous game logs to rely on, but look at the last game. 60.4 fantasy points. Previously 34. And then you got a 50 here. But then you got 19, 23, bumps back to 48, 34, 43. So, guys, I would say he is a hard guy to project most nights. I would love to tell you that he's got 40, 50, 60 point type of potential on any given night, but I just don't believe it. I think, for a guy like him, he seems to be very scoring dependent. So if his shot's falling, if he's getting buckets, then he will get to the 40, 50, 60 point range on most nights. But, this is a team that is very guard heavy. You've got Graham, you've got Terry, Rozier, there we go. And you got LaMelo Ball. I mean, so there's a lot of guys who take a lot of shots and handle the ball on this team. So it's hard for me to love Gordon Hayward night in and night out. But let's take a look here. If that's true, then maybe we take the under on Hayward, right? His team is projected to score almost 106 points. He's considered to be a versatile forward. And in this matchup, New Orleans does a typically good job against versatile forwards. And if we take a look here, the spread, New Orleans is a sizable favorite at home versus Charlotte. So I don't think this game blows out, but there is a chance for it when there's a spread that's, anywhere over like 5 or 6 points. So something to keep in mind with Hayward. Enough about him. Let's flip over to the other side. Zion Williamson. I think a lot of people had high hopes for Zion. The minutes restriction that he was on toward the middle and end of last season. It's been lifted this season. Yet the big man hasn't really stepped into superstar status yet. They've got a tricky little projection at 39.9. This is one of the first times I think I've seen Williamson priced under 40 this season. So if the numbers line up here, I don't mind clicking the under on Zion. I've been doing it all season, and it's been working out for me. He's projected for 39, so they're pretty much right on the money on Roto Grinders. On Pros, they have him at 40, so a 39, a 40, and then finally a 38. So Round that up to 39, you're talking 39, 40 point range. That seems about right for this guy. Do his game logs tell a different story, though? Well, he's went over 40 in his last 2 games, 44.7, 42. Previous games, as I mentioned, going under on Zion has just been money all season. 30.9, 16.5, 24. A couple of big games to start the season, but then dropped down to 31 back in the first game of the season. So, you know, his minutes have kind of been up and down too. That's another thing that's impacting him. I like where they're trending here in the lower to mid 30 range here, 32 to 35 minutes, but previous games of 17 and 28 are a little scary. Hopefully the trend continues where he plays at least 32 plus minutes a game. I think it's still going to be kind of tough for him to get to that marker tonight. Let's go and look at the matchup for him. Pelicans are expected to score a little over 112 points. He's a versatile forward, and Charlotte is currently ranking 7th against versatile forwards, and this is a 2 games in 3 night situation. So, yeah, don't really love Zion to go over tonight. I mean, he could, as we've seen his last 2 games, he's broken the 39.9. This is a tricky projection for me. I'd probably fade him if I were going to do anything with that one. Anybody else we want to talk about from that game? Not really. Let's go to the next one and talk about my Orlando Magic. Nik Vucevic, a walking double-double. 43 is his projection tonight. We filter out all the positions here. They like the over on Vooch at 45. They've got Vooch at 45 as well. Finally, can we make it 3 for 3? 46. So 3 of the sites like the over on Vooch. I do too. The guy is a monster. Let's look at his logs real quick. Any game logs versus Houston this season? No sirree, Bob. This is his first matchup against them. Had a bit of a down game his last game, 34.4, but we take that one away. You got 50, 47. Here's a down one, 35, 49. We've mentioned it before in previous videos that Vooch had this this holding pattern of mid-30s, 40s, mid-30s, 40s, 30s, 40s, and then kind of broke out of the pattern here, but then dropped back down to the 30s. So all sites like him to drop, or to not drop, but to go back up over that 40-point marker, and so do I. He is a versatile big, and Houston ranks 12th against versatile bigs. Let's look at the game totals and spread. Houston projected for 115 points, Orlando 109. That's a 6-point spread. Doesn't look like there's a potential for a huge blowout or anything like that, so I think this game stays close for the most part. I like the over on Vooch tonight too, so I'm going to go with over on Voochie. Let's go to James Harden, 55 tonight. Harden had a bit of a dud game, if I remember correctly, in his last one. They got him at 53, 54, and 48. So they're much lower on RotoWire. RotoWire's weird. We've seen RotoWire be really high, really low on some situations on certain guys. So they're kind of a mixed bag. So take that for what you will. Let's look at his game logs real quick. I mentioned his last game was a bit of a downer. Well, his previous 2 games were downers. Really, guys, I mean, he hasn't cracked that 55-point mark in 4 games. I mean, his last time he did that was 73, but it's been a while ago now. So John Wall's healthy. Christian Wood's health will impact this. I think if Wood is out, then maybe you get a little bit more from Harden. But, you know, the under's looking really good for James Harden tonight. That's probably where I would lean. Cole Anthony enters the starting lineup, by the way. Now that Markelle Fultz is out for the season, the rookie from UNC will step up and step in for the Orlando Magic. Excited to see how he does in his first start tonight. I don't think I want to look anywhere else. Karis Levert, we're going to jump to the next game. We got Brooklyn versus Memphis. Karis Levert, as I mentioned at the top of the show, he absolutely smashed last night. Kyrie was ruled out late in the night, and Karis Levert, they weren't fast enough for us. Anybody who was in the Discord chat we called it out immediately. Hammer Levert, hammer Levert. So hopefully you got some Levert at low projections, and you were able to put him with the right guys and right combos and get some money off of that. But Levert's projected for 43, 1 point lower than his projection, his updated projection from last night. He crushed the 44 points last night. Does he have a chance to do it again tonight? Roto Grinders has him at 44, we'll call it. Fantasy Pros, I think they're too low on Karis Levert at 38.7. I don't know if they're taking into consideration that both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving will miss tonight. So that's too low for my taste on Karis Levert. And then 44 seems more like it. If we go over to his game logs, we know he had a big game last night. Ended up hitting the 50 burger. My man had the 50 burger with the fries and the shake. Previous games with more of those stars healthy like Kyrie, 36, 28, 15. I mean, we can't really look at that. We got to look at the games where, blowouts happen and Levert gets a lot of run. 38 minutes here, put up over 60 fantasy points. We expect him to get closer to, that 32 plus minute type of game tonight, 33 in his last game. So Brooklyn's expected to score almost 110 points tonight. He's a scoring wing, and Memphis doesn't do very well at guarding scoring wings. He's on a back-to-back 3 games in 4 nights, but as we mentioned, he hasn't been getting heavy minutes as he's typically coming off of the bench. So I love Levert in this spot here to go over the 43. The other side of the ball, let's talk Dillon Brooks. I don't like you, Dillon Brooks. It's personal, buddy. I had you going over last night, and in the first half of the game, you couldn't buy a bucket. It's like there was a lid on the thing. He did start to turn it around in the second half, but by then, we just didn't have enough time. We needed more out of Dillon Brooks last night. I had 100% Dillon Brooks and 100% CJ McCollum in my lineups, and let's just say I didn't win. I didn't really win much money. It wasn't a profitable night. So Dillon Brooks, you are on the crap list. Some people in the Discord said, Dillon Brooks, you're not making it into my PrizePicks lineups anymore. We're going to talk about him anyway and see if maybe there's a bounce back for Dillon Brooks tonight. 28.81, they like the over on Brooks. 26.8, they like the over on Brooks. And finally, 29.41. 26.8 wouldn't really be the over. It would be more of a tie. So we'll call it a tie. Looking at his game logs, we already know last night wasn't a good night for Brooks. 23.2, previous game 28, and then a 23. So he's been in that low to mid 20-point range in his last 3 games. 34.6, that's a bit of a ceiling game for him. Back down to 25, 42, another big ceiling game for him. So, I mean, let's go with this, guys. Let's just say don't play Dillon Brooks. Screw that guy. We got better options on the board. Let's talk Rudy Gobert, Utah Jazz versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Gobert's projected for 39 points tonight. Let's see what they got him at over on Roto Grinders. 40.71. Let's call it 41. Scroll up. They got him at 40. So 41, 40. And then Gobert, 38. We'll call that 39. So he's right in that 39 to 40 point range. Game logs for Gobert, 45, big game for him last game, 33 the previous, 41, 30, 39, 44, 40, 40, 44 again. So 40 is not out of the question. I think PrizePicks has done a great job with Rudy Gobert in his projection tonight. This is one of those situations where you reach into your pocket, you pull out a quarter, you flip the sucker, and that's how you come up with if you want to go over under on Gobert, because I just think that they've done an excellent job. There's not really a big edge here to have with Gobert. Jazz are projected to score 112. He is considered to be a post-up big. We know Gobert's not a big-time scorer. He relies on those blocks. He relies on rebounds. And the Milwaukee Bucks rank 18th. And this is a 3 games in 4 nights situation for Gobert. If we look at the game totals and the spread, this game is projected to stay relatively close throughout, 118 to 112.5. Not a huge gap there. So these teams should stay pretty close throughout this one. Giannis Antetokounmpo. We know this guy has tremendous upside, has 60, 70 point ceiling any given night. Let's look at the projections for Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight. 54.4, so that's an over on the 52. Pros, 52.2. They're right in line with PrizePicks. And RotoWire has him at 48. They like the under, quite a big under on Giannis. Let's look at the logs. The logs might tell it all. 38.6 in his last game versus Detroit. Previous to that, though, almost 60 here, 65, 64, 32, 56, 34, 52. So bit of a correlation here. Typically when his projection or his final fantasy scores are low, it's because the minutes are also low. 34 points, 26 minutes played, 32 points, 24 minutes played. So, and again here, 38, only 28 minutes played. So we need Giannis to get minutes. This game, if it stays close, Giannis will get all the minutes that Giannis can handle. Talking about fantasy points per minute, a good metric to look at, 1.62 fantasy points per minute. I mean, you look at that, you look at the usage of 35.26. The guy, when he plays, he's going to crush. He's going to crush, and they have him at 33 minutes tonight. So I like the over on Giannis. I think 52 is just a little underweight. And for that reason, I'm going to make Giannis Antetokounmpo my lock of the night as we look to get back on track. We took CJ McCollum last night as the lock. He was the first time that the lock didn't quite work out. Hopefully we bounce back with Giannis. Everything looks to be lining up nicely for him to go over his projection of 52. And we'll talk about the swingman here for the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell, 36 points. Mitchell having somewhat of a under-the-radar kind of quiet season. He's projected for 37 points tonight over his projection on PrizePicks. They like him to go for 34.5 on Fantasy Pros. And RotoWire likes Donovan Mitchell at 34.65. So they're all kind of in the same range, 34-ish, 36, 37. So game logs will tell us a little bit more. Last game wasn't a good one, 27.8. 38.8 here, 36.3 here, 22.3. So, I mean, his projection tonight of 36, he's only done that a handful of times this season. 1, 2, 3. 3 times has he went 36 or better. Do you think he does it tonight? Maybe. Maybe if it stays close, but the guy hasn't been playing a boatload of minutes either. 28, 29. 30 here, so he's gonna have to get the minutes in order to come even close to sniff going over. The 0.98, not great, but not terrible as far as fantasy points per minute. Matchup isn't the best. They rank 15th against combo guards, does Milwaukee. So I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the under on Mitchell. You tell me. What do you guys think? You like Donovan Mitchell for over or under? Let me know down in the comments below. But I think that's going to be it for tonight, guys. I'm always in the Discord. If there's anybody on the board that we didn't get a chance to discuss that you're curious about, send me a message in Discord. I don't mind digging a little deeper for you guys. The Discord channel is an extension of what we do here on YouTube. Obviously, I don't want these videos to go for too long. We can't cover everyone. I mean, we could, but who wants to sit here for an hour, right? not me, not you. So we try to just do the best that we can with the time that we have. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been another great video. Hopefully, this will help you build some winning combinations tonight. If you need anything, let me know down in the comments section below. Jump in the Discord. I'm here for you guys. I want to make this channel and this whole experience all about you. So, I'm definitely open to any suggestions, comments, concerns that you guys may have. Thanks for tuning in. This is Out of Bounds. I'm CJ. Let's win some money tonight. Subscribe, notifications, like, comment, share this video with the entire world.